Hey everybody, so I thought I'd record this little video explaining what is Clash of Wills. Clash of Wills is a new type of content we got. It coincides with Dark Visions, so it's going to run every 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks out of the month we're going to get Dark Visions, and for 2 weeks out of the month we're going to get Clash of Wills, the cow level. Clash of Wills has an orb system, but it really doesn't matter that much because it's just how often you can do it. Your orbs refresh once an hour, but really you have 2 weeks to use essentially 20 orbs. Okay, so let's go in. So there is a system, you can see it up at the top here, with echelons. The echelons is every 20 levels. There are a total of 99 floors. Think of it like a tower climb. There are a total of 99 floors, and each 20 floors is called an echelon. So the first 1 through 19, is echelon 1. So it's just echelons is what these are called. And until you go up to 81 through 99, and that's echelon 5. You can't get to max, which is 100. So you can get to 99, which is max. Okay, so then you've got these modifiers. The modifiers are unlocked by how many EX you have in your party. So if you have 2 units with EX3, then you would have 6 of these stars to spend, okay? So, and your score bonus is determined by how many stars you've spent. So you look at, like, I have 12 total stars to spend from all my EX points that I have available. So, I could buy all that and make the boss really tough. I could just go crazy with it. Just make the boss real tough. So let's make it easy there. All right. So for the purposes of showing this off, let's just give it, like, I don't know, just the attack, just to make sure I get this done real quick. All right. So we only got a 20% mod because we only spent the 2 stars for that little attack buff to the enemy. All right, so you have your team. You can set your team. You can bring in your own full team of 6. And yeah, that's it. The boss, similar to Dark Visions, is weak to its innate elements. So this particular one, the first one, is weak to fire and light. Okay. So we go in, we use the orb. Orb is spent. Now you have your morale gauge up at the top. The morale gauge is kind of like a tug of war for skills and abilities. Every time the boss uses skills, it pushes it over into this side. Every time you use skills, it pushes it over towards that side. So the boss is red, you're blue, and anything that's undecided yet until the turn ends is yellow. So the boss used all of its stuff, so it's got that yellow, and unless we push it back, the boss gets that at the end of the turn. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I will push it a little bit by using, let's use Shelga, which is green magic, and cover. And you can see that it just moved just slightly. Just ever so slightly it moved. Okay? See if we can pull it down just a little bit so you can see it there. So there, you can see the morale gauge just a little bit easier. Pulled it down. Okay, so Louise has these skills, which can level up the morale gauge. So let's watch it go up. See, morale gauge goes up. White Dragon Ling has some skills that fill the morale gauge. Whatever. So we watch the morale gauge go up as she uses her skills, and you can see the blue that we've definitely gotten and the yellow that is contested. Alright, let's do some damage so we can get some of that. You can see it just going up just a little bit from the damage. And we'll use Elena to contest the gauge just a little bit too. We'll use the 3 banners from this, which are White Dragon Ling, Luis, and Neovision Awakened Elena, all have skills that play with the morale gauge, so they're specifically for this content. Alright, and we'll do Enshrouded by Darkness. You can test the gauge just a little bit more, and you can see how far we've pushed the gauge. Okay, so then Morgana does her stuff, or the boss does its moves, and the morale gauge has been pushed a little bit. Okay? So, let's take a look at the gauge. And deaths don't really matter. Alright? So, you've got influences to morale. Player unit is KO'd, attack enemy's weakness, you know, etc, etc, etc. The things that you do and things that the enemy does completely affects the gauge. And right now, the passive's in effect. Earlier, the boss got these, and now I'm getting them because we've pushed the bar over onto our side. They can go up to 20% depending on where the gauge is. So if we press the gauge all the way over to where it's 200%, then we would have a total of 20% of all these buffs for our side of the field. Okay? Now, looks like Beatrix died, so I wasn't really paying attention for that. But I'll explain this little system up here at the top. Okay, so you see the hexagon, the triangle, the circle, and the square. Alright, so what those are cooldown abilities. So think of that as like, you know, the tug of war, but whenever the slider goes over top and past that, whenever this little slider that's in the middle passes those things, they can go on cooldown. So the cooldown starts ticking. So if the slider's over here, this circle starts ticking. And if the slider's past it, then the circle stops ticking. Okay? So right now, if I finish my turn, this one goes to from 3 to 2, this one goes from 5 to 4. Okay? And you can see that there are skills that you can click on. They don't put any unit on cooldown. Think of it like you, the player, are using these skills. Okay? So, you know, restore all HP, activate barrier, boost defense and spirit, boost attack and magic. They're great. 400% parameter boosts. Okay? So, they're fantastic. Alright? So, let's go ahead and we're going to jump forward in the video just a second, and we're going to look at what the score screen looks like. So, we've completely explained how the morale gauge completely works. Now we're going to take a look at the score screen. So just 1 second, guys. So here we go. This should kill it, I think. All right. So you can see up here we have the gauge. The gauge is ticked down because it's been pushed over for 3 turns. So we're still 1 turn away from activating barrier for all allies if we were to need that. We're still 3 turns away from restoring HP and MP to all allies. And we didn't quite push the gauge up to 1 and 2 to where we can add defense and spirit or a 400% attack buff. But if you guys, you know, play the long game, we're just trying to show off what the score screen looks like. Okay? All right, so let's go. Terra first. Okay, so boom, she's down. Only with a 20% mod. Whatever. All right. So we got the quest cleared. We defeated her with a really low score. So we got the quest cleared bonus. We got the damage in 1 turn. You're going to want that 30k point score. Number of effective attacks. That is, as long as you do the damage that the boss is weak to 6 times in a turn, then you're fine. Or 6 times. So if I dealt like fire damage or light damage, then you get that 10k score. Number of turns to clear. So you want to clear in 10 turns or less. If it's any over 10, it starts taking 1,000 points away every turn. So if you cleared it in turn 11, it would say 9,000 points, for instance. Turn 12, it would say 8,000 points, etc., etc. Biggest chain, you're going to want to get it up to 100. That's it, just like Dark Visions. So my overall rating was S+, because I wasn't terrible, but, you know, that damage could have been a lot better. And the score rating bonus that was applied to it was only 20%. So I just get a 20% mod on top of this, which is not that good. So that's the Echelon and level bonus. The Echelon and level bonus is just getting it from, you know, 99. And then the challenge bonus is the percentage that I applied to it. Okay? So my total score was 184,190. Not a great score, but you can understand how the score system works. Okay? Then we'll talk about the rewards. The rewards, as long as you get to 299, you get all the crafting rewards, all the STMR tickets, etc., the sigils, and then your ranking rewards are for where you place whenever that 2-week period is over. So, let's take a look at 50 to 100. So you get the Xenostone shards, which you can use to craft new items. The emblems, you can get Neovision tickets, 30% Neovision tickets, or 5-star tickets. Some EX tickets, some STMR tickets, a regular Trust Moogle, a King Metal Minotaur, and then if you can get all the way up to first place, the only thing that really changes is the emblem changes. You get more of the Xenostone shards, you get more tickets, you get more STMR tickets, you get more King Minotaurs. Really, the big change is the emblem, the STMR tickets, and the crafting mats. But that is Chamber of Wills. Oh, there's one more thing. So, some characters, like Luis, have skills that change their damage based on where the morale gauge is. So, if the morale gauge is low, it does less damage. If the morale gauge is high, then it does ridiculously high damage. So the modifier changes completely based on where the morale gauge is. So you want to use skills like that whenever you have the morale gauge up at, say, 200% in your favor. Alright, guys. Well, thanks for checking this video out. Much love, and peace.